The Thunderlord is the most used heavy exotic in all of Destiny. As I'm making this video, it is used by 1.6% of all Guardians. And you may be wondering, why are so many people using it? Well, in 2 words, I can tell you, it's good. And in an entire YouTube video, I can give you a way longer, more drawn out answer. So we're gonna do that instead. First, let's take a quick look at its stats and perks. Then we're gonna go over its usage and performance. Let's jump right into its perks. For barrel, we have polygonal rifling, and for magazine, we have armor piercing rounds. It does also have Feeding Frenzy, which grants you that extra reload speed, but its exotic perk is what we really care about, and that is lightning rounds. This will make the Thunderlord fire faster and more accurately the longer the trigger is held. Plus, it will generate lightning strikes on continuous damage to an enemy. And lastly, its intrinsic perk is Rain Havoc, which will allow you to generate lightning strikes on final blows and now makes it stun overload champions. And that's all the Thunderlord comes pre-installed with. But let's take a quick look at its catalyst. The catalyst perk is Return Stroke, so that when you create a lightning strike, you will partially reload the magazine from reserves. And with how easy lightning strikes are to trigger, you'll be firing for an extremely long time. But let's go ahead and take a peek at its stats. It has good reload and stability, with its reload getting much faster with even just a stack or 2 of Feeding Frenzy. These stats are not to be overlooked, but they're not exactly amazing. The main stat here is firing rate. It has an RPM of 450, but with lightning rounds, it can get much higher. I don't have an exact number because I'm a dumb, stupid idiot, but let's just listen to the difference. You hear it? It literally goes from Ugga Chugga to Burr. Pretty sick, right guys? You were supposed to respond. Sometimes I feel like these conversations are really one-sided, and we need to work on our communication. But it's your fault, not mine, so you need to work on it way more than I do. Okay, that's all for stats. Let's take a quick look at its performance in PvP. And for the 3 of you who finally spoke up and said, who the hell uses Thunderlord on PvP? You need to stop working on your communication and shut the hell up and watch the video. Machine guns have and always will be a good option in PvP because they're extremely high damage that is instant, unlike rockets and grenade launchers. But is it worth using an exotic power weapon at all? Yes and no. I wouldn't say it's worth it, but I wouldn't say it's not. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a good weapon with good perks, and it feels great, but the time to kill at its quickest is 0.53, which really isn't that good when compared to other power weapons. And if you're using an exotic like Conditional Finality or Ace of Spades, please do not swap these out to squeeze the Thunderlord into your loadout. You will only get to use this for about 1 minute per game if you're lucky, but if you're already running a double legendary loadout, it won't hurt to have it equipped. Then again, if you're looking for an exotic, you could just go with Galley, and if you're feeling inaccurate, the Colony. I do think that there is a time and place for Thunderlord to truly excel, and that's in Gambit. Look, I know I don't cover Gambit much, but let's talk about it. You get to take advantage of all the lightning against the adds or the primeval, and it's a great invade weapon. I think I have like 5 or 6 invader wipes total in my career, and at least 3 of these are with the Thunderlord. It is so silky smooth, and you get so much ammo. If you can just kill one enemy, then odds are you can kill the one right beside him with the lightning strike. Like I said, I would not go out of my way to squeeze this into my loadout, but it will hold its own. Let's talk about PvE. I have a hard time using exotic heavies right now in PvE because of how strong exotic primaries are. For example, Quicksilver Storm slaps the cheeks of your enemies so hard they forget where they are. And Sunshot, well, Sunshot blows shit up. But there's a reason Thunderlord is so popular. And once again, because it's good. I would even argue it's the best exotic power weapon. It's not the best at ad clear, it's not the best at DPS, and it's not the most unique weapon of all time, but it's gotta be top 5 in every single one of those categories for power weapons. Those lightning strikes come down so often you can obliterate any group of enemies, and I know I'm gonna piss off some raiders when I say this, but it's a damn good option for DPS. Do you know how often beginners and even veterans miss a rocket or commit sewer slide shooting their friend? A lot. Look at this graph. Okay, this isn't the exact graph I was looking for, but it's close enough. And it's not like it's complete trash at boss DPS. This thing holds its own extremely well as long as you have the catalyst. I've used this thing in every single PvE game mode, and it works well in every single one. I especially love it in lost sectors where there are overloads, because when I run in my arc build, I can just obliterate champions and bosses instantly. And speaking of arc builds, this is one of my go-to exotics for my Arc Titan. Pairing this with Spark of Discharge for a chance to create an Ionic Trace with every single kill, and some Arc Siphon mods creates a constant chain of arc abilities and machine gun damage with enough ad clear to wipe out a planet. But especially if you're running Savathun Spire or Altar of Summoning, and if you can draw that Sisters card right before your encounter, you'll have nearly 100% uptime where you're lightning striking machine gun to completely erase any enemy before they even spawn. It is actually so funny, and I hope I have some good footage to show you of how amazing it is. And that about does it for the Thunderlord. It's a belt-fed machine gun that strikes lightning upon your foes. And if that doesn't interest you, I'm not sure you're a Destiny player. It gets 4.5 belts out of 5 in PvE because of its versatility in all modes and easy boss damage. And then it'll get 3 belts out of 5 in PvP because it's pretty mediocre, but so is just about every other power weapon in PvP. Man, it feels good to be back. I'm so sorry for being gone for so long, and I will not let that happen again. Thank you all for your love and support, my P Swifties. Heart emoji, XOXO, Gossip Girl.